Well, two players who were up very late last night. Of course, like all these players, didn't have much time in between really. But we haven't seen any effects of that in some of the play we've seen already here this afternoon in this Wuhan sports arena. And these are the two players who lost their matches last night in the quarterfinals. Youn, who lost to Pai Xiaoma of Chinese Taipei in 3 games after she had taken the opening game, and Eriko E.Hirose, who, well, she lost as well in her match against Adrianti Federsara, also in the final game as well. So I suppose both players, you could say, looking for a bit of redemption. The pressure really on though for Eriko E.Hirose, Jill, because obviously if she doesn't get past Youn here, it's all over. Contest is over.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, given the fact that she has actually beaten Youn on the only previous occasion they've met, she will have hope. But the thing that Steen and I were talking about was the psychological effect on the next players on court when you witness such a terrific women's doubles. The previous match going 1 hour and 23 minutes, your players, your teammates have given their all and yet still haven't managed to put a point on the board as far as the overall tie is concerned. So psychologically for Eriko E.Hirose, it's very, very difficult indeed.
Yeah, just on that, on the women's doubles, I mean, they seem to make a bit of a mess of it, haven't they, Japan? I mean, the fact that they have 3 players in the top 8 of the world and end up in the final women's doubles match having to go for a pair that are ranked 21 in the world.
Well, I haven't really got to the bottom of why the world number 8 ranked pair of Maeda and Suetsuna are not actually here in Wuhan.
But the other 2 lost last night and they've been dropped.
Yeah.
So it's obviously not paid off. Obviously we don't know whether we're going to see the women's doubles yet. That's the game coming up. But I don't know, that can't help spirits either. The fact that, you know, 1 pair aren't here. The pair that obviously were supposed to be filling their boots have been dropped. And you're now going to the youngsters who are, you know, obviously very talented, but outside the world's top 20 when you've got 3 in the top 8.
Yes, it's we don't know. I mean, we've asked the questions and
we don't always get the answers, do we?
We don't always get the answers, no. But it may be that, you know, a slight injury problem to Suetsuna. She's had knee surgery in the past and so on. So there may be a very logical explanation, but we haven't found out exactly. But here's another interesting thing. E.Hirose has just won the toss of the coin, and she's decided that she wants to start this near side. Now, we saw from the women's doubles that in essence, basically, it was the start of or the players this end of the court that were enjoying more success. So, you know, it's...
Is that all to do with the drift?
All to do with the drift, you know, but of course the fact that both these players in the singles, when they played late yesterday evening, both losing those matches, only 2 minutes difference in the time that they were on court. One was on court for 1 hour and 5 minutes, the other for 1 hour and 7 minutes. You know, so they'll both be as physically tired as the other. But, you know, I think every little advantage that you can get, you know, your preferred end to start the match, or, you know, it's all going to count towards it.
Well, 2 interesting characters. It's fair to say Eriko E.Hirose is, well, she's had some better times of it, really. You can look at that win-loss ratio, 10-10. She's hardly been able to make a run in any tournaments this year, and you thought maybe after a couple of morale-boosting wins early on this week, albeit against Iris Wang and Lena Clausen, that maybe she was coming out of that slump, but last night's defeat won't have helped her morale, really, would it?
No, and her 8 individual tournaments, she's lost in the first round 4 times this year. So, you know, in comparison to the win-loss ratio of Youn, you know, yes, of course, it's going to be difficult for E.Hirose, but that is going to help her. That previous match encounter, which happened
yeah, back in September, wasn't it?
September last year, first round of the China Masters. But it was 3 games on that occasion, so desperately, desperately close.
Yeah, so I think that this is going to be a tough one to call, don't you? I mean, there's no guarantee this is going to be 3-0 Korea, and we might actually see the women's doubles coming up next. Players knocking up, as they will do. The umpire for this one is the Australian David Turner, who's called the players together now to start this 3rd match in this Uber Cup semi-final, with Korea having put 2 points already on the board. Japan, no, their hopes now lie in prolonging things here with Eriko Hirose. Both these players have featured in the top 10 of the world. Youn's been as high as number 5, Hirose as high as number 7. Of course, her highlight runner-up in the All England in 2010. Youn reached the final of the Australian Open Gold back in April. She took a couple of Chinese scalps on the way as well. Wang Xin and Li Shuyi. She also beat Pai in that tournament as well, who she lost to last night in that thrilling 3-game match that didn't prove costly in the end. And I suppose from a neutral perspective, it looks like we're getting closer to that revenge final. And it's been notable actually in the auditorium in this Wuhan Sports Arena that there's been a lot of support for whoever's been playing up against Korea, because I suppose they're seen as the biggest threat to China retaining this Uber Cup. So expect plenty of support here for Hirose in this women's singles match.
Ladies and gentlemen, on my right, Japan, represented by E.Hirose. On my left, Korea, represented by Youn. Korea to serve. Love all. Play.
Well, it's now or never for Japan, isn't it, in this Uber Cup semi-final? They can't afford to lose another match. And just the start that Hirose would have wanted. Comfortable first point.
Over. 1 love.
A very positive start from Hirose.
2 love. Service over. 1, 2.
It's fair to say, isn't it, Jill, there's more to be afraid of in terms of the quality of the Korean squad for China than there is from the Japanese. You look at Bei here, who's just turns around from 2 down to 2 all here in this opening game. She's had some notable scouts. I mentioned the Chinese players she's beaten. She's beaten Sina Nehwal this year as well.
Yes, I think that's a very fair comment, and also I think Sung Jae-hyun, who played the first singles, she's beaten Wang Yihan, the current world #1 and world champion, Wang Xin as well. So yes, I think that it's absolutely fair to say that the Koreans would be, on paper, more of a threat to China.
Just wide, just out from
4, 2.
played at such a pace, that rally.
Service over. 3-4.
Yeah, these early rallies can really set the mark on the game. E.Hirose, I think rather importantly, started pretty well here, given the overall match score. You fear if Japan are trailing in this game as well, it'd be even harder for E.Hirose to put out the required shots. That's wide.
4-all.
So the defending champions looking good right now.
Oof, my goodness, was it?
It just caught the line.
Yeah, but it was called long.
Tough call for the line judge there. It took, what, the replay had to be on there twice just to 100% confirm.
Service over. 5-all.
It's clever there from the left-handed Youn.
Service over.
Little hold and flick
5.
over opponent's head from the net position. E.Hirose suffered a horrific injury a few years back at the 2007 Philippine Grand Prix event. It happened just in front of me. I was sitting behind the court. I actually heard her hamstring tear, left on the court in absolute agony.
Nicely played. Very tight start.
Over. 6-all.
A little bit short and eaten up.
Yeah, same again.
7-6. Eight, 6. Service over.
Right idea.
8.
Almost hitting too long though. Get to the net early though, and then you've got control of the rally. Can play the net shot or the fast push.
Nicely played from
Service
Hirose.
over.
Lovely disguise.
9-7. Service over. 8-9.
Oh, it's just wide.
Ooh. It was one of those touch and go.
10.
She's not convinced, is she, Bay, that it did go out?
Oh, I am. Thought that was just wide by a whisker.
Service over. 9.
Well, the early stages suggest this one might last as long as the previous women's doubles match. Brilliant. Excellent rally.
10 all. Service over. 11-10 interval.
So just 1 point between these two players in the second of the women's singles after the first interval. Well, we said it was a hard one to call before the match, and I don't think there's anything from the first stages here, Jill, to suggest it will be anything but.
No, that's right. It's, I mean, before the whole tie started, we were all looking at the lineup, and this was probably one of the most difficult ones to call, and who was going to be the winner on this occasion. And Steen and I talked about
20 seconds.
the fact that it would really all depend to a large extent on who'd won the first two matches. That we thought was going to have an effect. The only effect that seems to be having on Hirose at the moment is to make her even more determined. The fact that Japan are 2-love down in the tie. And that's good character. That's very, very good to see.
She likes a yell, doesn't she, Bay? Every time she wins a point. I mean, it's almost like sometimes a bit over the top.
Well, I was slightly concerned after that rally about the body language of E.Hirose. The next couple of rallies, I suspect, are going to be very telling. Yeah, once again, look at the body language.
Yeah, I mean, I take what you're saying, Jill, but I also I think that she feels like she's actually playing pretty well and playing some good shots, and you know, she's not missing that by much. Just despair, I think, as much as anything.
But that's exactly what's bothering me. It's not the physicality of her bending over and looking fatigued. It's the psychological effect of her sort of saying, crikey, look here, I'm playing well, and I'm still not winning the rallies.
Service over. 12.
There's only 1 point in it. She shouldn't beat up on herself. Yeah, it's beautiful. Lovely disguise, lovely slice.
Service over. 14. 12.
And you know, all this yelling at the end of a rally when she's won the rally in a clenched fist may be a little bit annoying, but it certainly tells us her state of mind. And you compare that to Hirose, who after rallies has looked despondent. And you know, I'm not suggesting that Hirose should necessarily start yelling and screaming after winning a rally, but you know, it does show the very different characters.
Finding the corners, isn't she, Bate? Playing very well. 15-12 now, her lead. It's the first time someone's had a 3-point lead in the game.
Sixteen. 12. Service over. 13. 16.
Yeah, she's enjoyed a lot of success, hasn't she, with that straight smash down the line towards the forehand side of Youn. Yeah, it's perfect placement.
She was yelling before that one dropped. But yeah, she knew. Sometimes you know, don't you?
Yeah.
17.
And sometimes,
14.
dare I say it, players yell that if it's a little closer than they think, it may affect the line call. Start the celebrations. Does that affect a line judge? I don't know. Never been a line judge.
They'll tell you no. Well, we were questioning at a very close point in this game whether the body language of Hirose suggested that maybe it was time for Youn to start moving away, and that's the way it's been. Yeah, Hirose's got to dig deep here now. The Korean camper certainly started to get excited. Hirose's only won 3 of the last 12 points. There you go. That's more like it.
Service over. 15.
Excellent
19.
angled shot.
Oh, it was a great recovery from deep in her forehand corner from Youn.
Service over.
Game points have arrived.
20. Game point 15.
It was so close for such a long time in this game. But Youn has put her foot on the gas and within reach of taking this opening game now. And there you go, 21-15, and Youn has taken Korea within one winning game of the Uber Cup final. Well, it's looking desperate now, isn't it, for Hirose in Japan? 21-15. Played some lovely badminton in that opening game, Hirose, but as you say, it's just started to slip from her, Jill. You pointed it out. She just, maybe body language-wise, gave too much away, and they made the most of it.
Yes, and that's the thing, because as a player, you really do notice what your opponent is doing. You're not only focused in on yourself, but you know, despite hitting so many overhead winners, Hirose not converting that into the opening game. And certainly I saw the moment, whereas if I'd been playing against Hirose, I would have known, right, pile on the pressure for the next 3, 4, 5 points, because she's wobbling psychologically. And that's exactly what Bay did.
And is that down to the result last night, all these first round exits, the pressure of being 2-0 down, all throw that into the mix? I suppose you say pretty understandable.
Yes, indeed. And this is why all sports psychologists and coaches and everybody will say never show how you feel, you know, on court. You've got to, you know, not allow your opponent to see that you're a bit down or whatever. But opponents know that you've had so many first round exits. They know your results, you know, so once they see that moment of frailty, that's when they pounce.
And all credit to Youn, she has pounced. And she has taken Korea here to the brink of a second appearance in the Uber Cup final in a row.
Love all. Play.
It'll be their 7th final in total, should they get there.
Service over. 1 love. Service over. 1 all. Two, 1. Ball.
Yeah, that's good speed towards the net from
Service
Hirose.
over. 2 all.
I'm just going to have to keep producing like that. One on the head for Bay.
Oh, that's perfection. Absolutely in the corner.
3, 2.
Did well to retrieve the net shot. Well, that was magnificent.
Well, she is digging deep. She is producing. It's a long way back still from here, though.
Service over. 3, 4.
Yeah, lovely smash.
Eriko just asking for one of the umpires to mop the floor for her. 213 that smash. Camilla Ruttuyo with the fastest smash so far this week. The Dane and over 230 kilometres per hour.
We had a 2:22 in the women's doubles as well. Second fastest of the week, I believe.
Well, she's got plenty of support from her teammates on the sidelines. Hirose 4-3 up in this second game. Oh, it's just wide.
4 all.
School good.
Service over. 5.
No argument from
4.
Youn. Yeah, and that's why. Plum on the line.
Play, please. Service over. 5 all.
These next 3 rallies are important.
Bay hits the front in this second game.
6 5.
Excellent power. Not quite as fast as the early one, but close to 210. It was the accuracy as much as anything. Oh dear.
7
Some
5.
happy Korean faces. They're closing in.
Service over. 6 7.
Snatching at a couple now.
I think she may have.
Service over.
No, she hasn't broken the
8
strings of her racket.
6.
And I said the next 3 points, well, it's actually been 4 points, but Youn has won 3 of those 4, and I wonder if that's significant. Just get the sense that unless E.Hirose is very, very careful here, things could slip away from her.
Play, please. Service over. 7 9.
Lovely. No need to yell about that one. I think the shot did all the screaming for her here.
Yeah, it's a good response though.
Service over. 8-10.
Yeah, very good response.
9-10.
Well, the interval comes up, and
11-9.
Korea,
Interval.
thanks to Youn here, going to close the deal. It's extremely hard for Hirose. It seems she's played some delightful shots throughout this match, but she just keeps coming up against an opponent here who's looking pretty rock solid.
Yes, indeed. Wish I knew what Park Ji-bong was saying to Hirose, what tactics he was advising. Did he enjoy success in that opening game with the straight smash down her opponent's forehand side? I wonder if he's been urging her to try and do that again.
Well, she got 9 winning points from it. Yeah, you'd think it would certainly be a tactic worth trying. Nothing to lose apart from the match right now. In other words, she might as well go for it. It's a desperate situation, this, for Japan.
Oh, that's a very, very good angle. Most lefties would have hit that straight down the line, not gone cross court like that. That's a great smash.
Well, the lead is getting bigger.
14-9.
The hopes for Japan just lessen. And right now, Korea are firm odds-on favourites here for a place in the final.
Oh, that was going out.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Jill. Could prove costly here, especially already with a 5-point lead.
Yeah. Playing the reverse angle from that round the head position. Played a smash just a moment ago. That time, the drop shot. But it's the angle of cross court that's doing the damage. Well, this is a run of 5 straight points.
Yeah, and won every point, of course, since the break as well. So whatever tactic was employed from Japan's perspective, since the interval, it's not worked. Well, she's on her knees, and I think so her country here, because
9.
hope is evaporating fast. Of course, tonight, the final semi-final is between China and Thailand. Again, Jill, China firm favourites for that, and so we got this prospect, I suppose, of this rematch of 2 years ago, Kuala Lumpur.
Well, there's an awful lot of fans that would be very happy to see that, but you know, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Be a little disrespectful to the Thai players. I'm sure go out tonight thinking they have a chance. But part one looks like it might be completed, with Korea here very close to victory against Japan.
That's well wide.
Yep.
17-9.
7 straight points. Well, perhaps we really ought to be asking what the Korean coach said, what tactics those were, because whatever it was, had the desired effect. Oh, where did that come from? That was superb.
Great shot.
Service
Too little, too late,
over.
though, you feel, for Hirose.
17.
I think that was a case of what you were suggesting. You might as well try something a little different. And on that occasion, it worked.
Eleven, 17.
Well, Hirose trying to make a fight of it here. Gap, you feel, still too wide, surely.
Twelve, 17.
Got it right that time. And Youn, who was part of the Uber Cup winning team of 2 years ago, although she didn't enjoy it that much. She suffered all week with a horrible fever. She struggled through, but there's been a little struggle here so far. A little rally there from Hirose, and now she is 3 points from victory. good. Delays, though, what
Over.
looks to be the inevitable.
13, 19.
Well, she said "sa," which I think she means, yeah, I've got it, but she didn't.
19.
One of those you were suggesting the shout, maybe trying to influence the call.
Play, please.
Right on the line from E.Hirose. Dwindling hopes, just given a little bit of a boost, albeit a minor one. Over anxious to get it done here, Youn. I suppose that's understandable too.
19. Bye. Bye. Play, please.
All of a sudden it's got very interesting indeed.
The hardest part is always crossing that finishing line. She's pulled that shot off a few times, hasn't she, Bay, in this match, but not there.
Well, once again, the yell from Youn.
Didn't put anyone that time, was it?
No.
And
Line judge, well, that was clearly in.
Yeah. And she had as good a view of it as anyone. You know, you said it was getting interesting.
Very interesting.
Yes. Let's add the very. Tense now. The players to the side of the court just creeping towards the edge of their seats now. What seemed a foregone conclusion now has a few question marks next to it. Well, she's trying her best to force the issue, Hirose, but that shot into the net means it's match points for Korea.
Service over. 20. Match point 17.
Korean players, you can see them there, they're on the feet now. They're ready for the victory charge. The defending champions are back in the Uber Cup final. And quite rightly, the umpire telling Bay to shake hands first with her opponent before joining her teammates for the victory celebration.
Match won by Korea, 21-15.
Congratulations to Youn and the Korean team. 3-0 here against Japan. Pretty comprehensive display from them. Bronze medal is the consolation prize, I suppose, for the Japanese team. But look at the joy on these Korean girls' faces. Given a little bit of a fright in the women's doubles, but Jill, China, if they are to get past Thailand, know they're going to have to get past Korea again if they're to get their hands back on the Yuba Cup.
Yes, it was a terrific tie altogether, and when you look at that, 49 minutes for 2 games of women's singles, that shows the quality of this particular match. Well, no winners from the net from Youn. All overhead winners.
And she matched Hirose's 9 from the first game. As you can see, more winners from Hirose, 11 in total, but shows you the unforced errors from the Japanese player. So no need for matches 4 and 5, is there? 3-0, the winning scoreline here. So confirmation of that then, as you see, no need for Kim and-jung to come out against Matsutomo and Takahashi. And the third and only singles Wang Ki-hyun. Well, they can look forward to the final now, can't they, Korea, after this 3-0 win over Japan. Confirmation, we have a nation in the final. Who will join them? Will it be China or Thailand? Well, that little matchup starts 7 o'clock local time here in Wuhan. I'm sure there'll be a packed crowd for that one. Your thoughts for the Japanese? Will they be satisfied or disappointed having got a bronze medal at this year's Yuba Cup?
I think they'll be a little disappointed, to be honest. They were the number 2 seeds here this year, and in the qualifying Asian zone, they actually beat China in the final. So, given all of that, yeah, I think they'll be a little disappointed.
But we saw the joy as far as the Korean ladies were concerned. First up, Song Ji-hyun comprehensively beaten Sayaka Sato 21-15, 21-10. It was an excellent display from the lead of singles player as far as Korea concerned. The women's double, well, Kim and-jung and Jung-yeon had a bit of a wobble, second game wobble, but they came through in that third game 21-17, 21-14 I should say. And that put them 2 to the good, which meant that it was down to Youn to try and seal the deal in 3 straight games. She managed that, and it means Korea are back in the Yuba Cup final after that sensational 3-1 victory over China 2 years ago. So still lots to look forward to here from Wuhan. Of course, the men's semi-finals tomorrow, but first up, of course, the treat of the Chinese ladies trying to join Korea in the final as they take on Thailand. From Steen, from Jill and myself, Richard, we look forward to your company then.
Our competition